What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today, doing another Gobosteur Project PBE VOD review because this guy is still the sub-GOAT of Project PBE rank 2. And I actually went on a crazy run myself on Project PBE. If I swap scenes here, you can probably see, yeah, my scores today. Pretty nice, up to rank 6 here. Except for that 8th at the end, which was pretty bad. And honestly, I think I owe a lot of my success today to watching Gobo's VODs yesterday. I grinded out, just almost watched his entire full VOD and just realized that the way that he's approaching the game is really, really good. He's pretty dang good at TFT and has a very, very good read on the PBE meta, which has shifted a little bit after the patch today, or the patch yesterday, as when you guys are watching this, but still is not completely different. So we start off here, do the thing that we've seen Gobo do already in the last VOD, and he really likes this, is just soloing the 1/4 minions with Camille so they can early make 10. And then Patient Study is a fantastic augment from the start, where you're just pretty happy to take that loss streak, make your first 10, and feel really, really good about it. I will say this could be another Warwick game from the items. Obviously, we have the full Titans open here, so definitely something that we could consider. Definitely doesn't have to be, and I would not do 2 Warwick VODs in a row, but I mean, it is funny. I mean, I could have. This ends up being an okay loss here with the Camille, which is exactly what Gobo wants because he does have Patient Study. So a great start and a good game plan from Gobo, which is not really revealed to us as the viewer yet, but once we get a little bit further in, oh my god, is he going to team planner out right now? He is. He's going to team planner out right now, the idea behind his board. And honestly, that's not the board that he's going to play, the one that he team plannered out, but it's a lot of the units that he wants to look at here. His main idea is that we are going to play around a Nidalee Morgana duo carry. Ideally, he does throw the Soraka in there as like a fallback and like a potential other unit to play around, but the dream is to play Nidalee plus Morgana. And so I think a lot of people would ask about, okay, what's the deal? What's the deal with this Nidalee Morgana comp? After playing more myself, after watching a lot of Gobo games, I am just quite convinced that Nidalee Morgana is a broken line. I think this Nidalee carry just does absolutely too much damage for a 4-cost unit. I mean, I have games where just Nidalee 2 stabilizes me so disgustingly hard that I win the game off of just Nidalee 2, and also, sometimes even Nidalee 1, it gets me to the point where I am saving enough HP that I can top 4, which should not be the case. Items for this comp, we're really, really, really interested in getting rods. As many rods as you can, honestly. The BIS for this line uses at least 3 rods, really. You need Gwinsu's and JG onto the Nidalee, and then honestly, you can finish it out with the death cap if you have a ton of rods, if you get like the bunch of rods augment, or if you have like Pandora's and stuff like that. Or, if you don't have as many, you can go for other items. You can go for Nashers, you can go for Guard Breaker, so we'll get there. And then you also do want Heal Cut on this board, and Morello is fantastic, especially because you're playing towards Morgana. So a lot of rods. And speaking of Morgana, the units that pair up with her, the Coven units, are going to be what we're going to throw in here for Gobo. This is another kind of innovation that I learned from watching more Gobo, is he actually does really like the early Coven these days. So, Coven, I think on release was a little bit weak. Really, people I still think haven't found their way into playing a lot of Coven. The only thing, and I've done the VOD review a while ago of Wage and Iverson playing Coven, the thing that most people have found is, well, if you get a Coven Lux, then you can play 7 Coven and you can just like win the game for free. But outside of that, most people I find are not really playing around Coven, and Gobo is one of these people who is a big proponent of it. He likes the early Coven and is happy to do this kind of loss streak with Coven, but still trying to kill units type thing, which is what you need to be doing with Coven. We've talked about this before, but this is not a full open loss streak trait like Anima. You do not get penalized for winning whatsoever, and you actually get rewarded for winning in that every single takedown you're getting either 2 stacks, 3 stacks. That's the other big thing that they did change about Coven, recently is that now even on just 3 Coven, you're getting 2 stacks per unit kill, which is a lot. It means that, you know, on stage 4, if or on stage 2, if you're killing 4 units, that's 8 stacks. On stage 3, if you're killing 5 or 6 units, you're getting, you know, 10 or 12 stacks. It's a lot of stacks that you get on a round that is a win, and especially if you get one of these like close losses, say you kill 5 units and lose, well, then you're 10 stacks plus however many you're getting from Coven, 25 or however many. So yeah, I think Gobo is one of these people who has also said that like you don't need to cash out a disgusting like win the game instantly amount of Coven stacks. Even the 250 stack cash out is really nice, can give you like full items to play around and a lot of stuff from there. Augment here. I found that Gobo actually likes this group hug a lot in this line because it's pretty easy with, you know, your front line, and then your Morgana, who's like a pseudo melee. She's like a 2-range carry. You can very easily second row her and get a lot of, you know, easy value on this. This is going to be the board that we are going to team planner out here. This is the best setup is for Vanguard, but he's also throwing the Amumu in here because Amumu is a pretty easy fallback unit as well. But this is the duo carry core of Morgana and Nidalee, fitting Vi in here, and then you have this nice Sentinel plus usually Cogmaw connection that you can do on this board here, and that's what he's going to team planner out the end. So that's the idea behind this board, and I mean, just watch this Morgana unit go crazy. But yeah, I mean, we get the Gwinsu's now, and we have this belt open. Like I said, you could just slam the Nashers here. I think that's a reasonable last item onto this guy. Once again, I don't think it's best. I think you would really prefer a last damage item. Death Cap, I think, is really, really nice onto this Nidalee, but it's also just gonna be like, well, you can get what you can get. You know, you can't always guarantee perfect items. But yeah, we're gonna continue sacking with Coven here. This line on yesterday's patch did get a tiny, I mean, a significant but not that crazy nerf in that the execute threshold on Primal, which we will talk about later, got nerfed. But they actually did give a small buff to the amount of mana gen that Invokers give to all of the Invokers themselves, their selfish mana gen effect. So this comp actually got like a teeny bit of a buff, which is kind of funny with how dominant it is. And Nidalee, the star of the show, did not receive any nerf, so you can absolutely still play around that unit very, very well. But yeah, I mean, you're going to continue to loss streak in this spot here. Curious to see. I mean, that is a Sentinel with a rod on it, and once again, you can never have too many rods in this line, so I do think we will pick this up here, and we can build this into probably a Morello, but we'll see. I'm not the biggest fan of a GS onto Nidalee just because she's one of these units that has backline access built in, so like I don't think really want to be GSing it up, but it is something that you could do if you need to. And he is going to make the Morello at Namicon and throw it onto the Cassiopeia. She spreads it really, really nicely. Kind of awkward that we like have 2-item Cogma and then we have to Morello her, but I mean, it's fine. And hey, it saves us a remover, and we're loss streaking anyway with Coven, so it's not like we need to play like Gigabis strongest board here. But the blue buff will help stabilize the board a lot. One thing I will say about this comp is it is a little reliant on finding either blue buff or the Amumu. You can flex that front line quite reasonably, and Rakan also helps you a lot with that, but you do need to find some kind of front line, and these are some of the most contested frontliners, so you do have to be a little bit careful when playing this line. Just make sure you have enough econ to actually get there. The patient study of this game, obviously fantastic for us to make it there. I mean, it's any 4-cross comp in general, you're going to want at least usually 1 econ augment to make it there, unless you're going on some kind of like full win streak to reach there. I will say as well, a lot of the reroll comps that I've highlighted in most recent VODs, I feel like have been becoming really, really popular on ladder. I've seen them a lot, and by ladder, I mean, you know, Project PBE ladder, if you can call it that. But I feel like this line really has not become as popular as I would expect. I played a lot of games earlier on that, you know, climb up Project PBE where I got a ton of LP, and I found that this is the line that I felt quite comfortable in because, you know, like reroll lines, people like oftentimes try to just hard contest you because they're silly and they want to play their spot into whatever they want. But I mean, this line I just really found not very contested, especially relative to how strong I think this line really is. So the GS is going to come down here from Gobo. Like I said, I don't think it's her best item, but it is an item nonetheless that you can throw onto the Nidalee, so we can definitely do that. And then this also allows us to make Vow, leave the cloak open, which is really, really nice for a other, ideally mana frontline item like a Adaptive Helm, because that's what Sentinel is. Sentinel is Nunu wearing a top hat, basically. It's another one of these like CC tanks where you just need to build as much mana gen as possible on it. But yeah, going to roll down here. Staffsmith, a great pickup here because this comp needs a lot of items, and we are going to take that small but decent enough cash out here. We're going to roll down for our board here, really just trying to find the Nidalees, but the Morganas will help already. There is one Nidalee. We're always going to go the Bear Blessing, the execute one on this comp. It is just so much value allowing Nidalee to just kill off random units here, and this is going to be our pivot. We just, wow, last second do end up getting to that blue buff, which is fantastic. The Morello can move up to the Morgana, and then for now the Nidalee can hold these items that we got off of the Staffsmith. We can throw the Archangel and Gunblade onto her and feel pretty good about it. So yeah, the spot works. Really just need to find some 2-stars, the Nidalee 2, the Morgana 2, and then we'll get there. But hey, we have 2-star front line. We have this Ivern in, who's honestly not a bad unit to play around here. Curious to see how Gobo ends up kind of like finishing out this board, if he does care enough about the Ivern, or if he wants to, yeah, just do exactly this, get the Rakan in onto the board and get the 4 Vanguard in. And at this point, he is also going to move items over to the Nidalee, tried to pop off good items, but wasn't able to do it, so is ending up just in this setup here with Gwynsu, Archangel, and GS. So yeah, like I said, Gwynsu absolutely necessary on this Nidalee unit. The big thing is the faster she attacks, the faster her spears are going to fly, which means she can just continue going crazy. You know, she doesn't end up in the spot where she's like waiting for her spear to fly super far. So she's just a fantastic holder of Gwynsu in general. JG fits really nicely on her as well, so that she can just like crit and kill backline targets. But you know, this setup is pretty nice as well. The GS, the Archangel, and also allows me to, or us to, put the Gunblade onto the Morgana. She feels pretty good with that, just because she is more of like a melee style unit, and obviously any util is going to go into the Morg. The Morello is making the most sense here. The Kog'Maw also just allowing you to have free MR shot on this board means you can skip out on building stuff like Void Staff a lot of the time. You can still build Void Staff. It's actually like not the worst, because Morgana does end up hitting like the entire board, and oftentimes will hit units that Kog'Maw isn't hitting. So I don't think it's horrible, but it is usually just kind of like item economy wise something that you can skip. You can see us team planning out the rest of the board there. Alune, an amazing addition to this board normally, and even better here because we have the Spellweaver spat that we got off of Coven. So now we can get free Spellweaver onto the board, and we do also have the ability to, you know, eventually hit Taric, and Taric's just a better Vanguard than the Hecarim. Once we hit Taric too, usually you do have to keep the Rakan in just because you want to fit Juggernaut in for the vibe, but this is the board, and I mean, just watch this Nidalee. Just watch the DPS from this Nidalee unit. I mean, it's just kind of disgusting how much damage she does for the fact that she's very safe in the back line. Her build is relatively flexible. You want to get to that Gwynsu's Rage Blade, but, you know, aside from that, and the JG's great. It really just like AP and damage on her is what you want from there, and you'll do pretty good. You don't have to do anything crazier than that. And the Morgana fits so nicely onto this board. Gets you 3 Invoker, gets her casting, means that you don't need to slam any kind of mana gen item onto her. You can just do exactly what Gobo's doing her here. Triple, you know, damage item or util item. Don't worry about mana whatsoever, and then just play this and be very happy about it. So that is the idea from Gobo here. Gonna finish off his last item here. Really wants to get to some kind of tank item for the blue buff, and so is gonna be kind of forced into making a second Gunblade, which is not amazing onto the Kog'Maw, but it's an item, and the upside is we can go for the Warmogs onto the blue buff here and be pretty happy about it. And yeah, we can even just early level here, get the Invoker emblem off of the charm here. So now we have 4 Invoker here. We're gonna have a Hecarim that's casting a lot, and also just this Morg is gonna be going completely crazy here with the Nidalee finishing everybody else off. This is the kind of cool setup with this board, by the way, is that Morg can kind of tickle everybody, get them a little bit low, spread your things like Heal Cut, and then Nidalee can just finish off the entire board, especially with that Execute just built into the fact that we are playing Primal on this board super easily. And remember, it was prior to the nerf yesterday, it was a 15% execute, which is just disgusting. They knocked 3% off of that, so now it's just a 12% execute, which is still very good, but, you know, not as broken as it once was. But yeah, really nice blue buff positioning in this fight, by the way. Blue buff can knock up just completely across the board, so usually I find that you want blue buff just opposite side from enemy carries, so that can just send that knock up throughout the entire enemy board, knock up the corner, and just do insane work. Kind of almost similar to Nunu from last set, but the spell effect is actually like a lot less big and crazy, which I think is going to make this unit like low-key easier to play around, weirdly enough. We are actually going to finally move the Gunblade down to the Nidalee and the GS up to the Kog'Maw. I think this makes a lot of sense. Nidalee's going to be doing a lot more damage than the Kog'Maw, and so the healing onto her is going to be a lot more consequential. And just, you know, Archangel plus Gunblade is a tale as old as time. It's a very nice combination because we're going to do more damage, and as we do more damage, we're going to heal up the board longer, and that's going to make the fight last longer, which is going to make us do more damage, and then we are going to be pretty happy about it. So that is the idea. We do see a Loon on Carousel if we do want to go for it. We are just going to end up picking up the tier here, the blue buff, because we just weren't able to pick up the Loon. Ends up getting yoinked, but not the end of the world, and we are just going to chill here. Clone Companion. One Nidalee scary enough. Why not get two there? And so that's what we're going to do, and even just corner the Nidalee here with this idea that it's even more group hug value. This is what I was talking about as well. Is group hug is so good in this comp, especially as you do finally get to Lunar onto this board. So easy to clump for Lunar and for group hug and just have a super tanky board. And also it's not even bad for you to clump because it almost encourages the enemy units to walk up towards yours and then clump up, which then is going to give you more Morgana value, which is nice. It's a little scary versus things like Kennen and enemy Morganas and Nars and stuff like that, but still, you know, not the end of the world. And yeah, I mean, at this point we are just going to be picking up whatever charm we can get. What's interesting is that Gobo is not down to play the Taric 1 even over this Hecarim. I mean, obviously Taric 1 is a less tanky unit than Hecarim, but obviously he also gets that util just from his, what is his trait called? The Green Goblin, something like that. His trait Emeralds guy is something like that. But yeah, his trait is, it does add a good amount of just tankiness to the board. I do think Gobo is just valuing the CC from Hecarim. Hecarim's a great tank. Being able to CC multiple units, especially if you put him on the corner, being able to like CC a random backliner can be really valuable. Though at this point we are going to sell the Hecarim because we say, you know what, it's quite likely that we sell this Hecarim, we're going to be like 30 gold here. It's very easy, very reasonable that we do see one Taric on this roll down here, and we do pick it up. So now we have Taric 2 to play around here, pick up the Warmonks for him, and this Potions one is actually quite nice late into the fight like this, where you can do this kind of thing here and put the two tanky potions onto the Taric here. Item's going to move down to the Elune, who once again, like we talked about, is just beautiful onto this board. Super easy. Going to rotate into a Rengar board. The other thing about Nidalee that I found is that just even boards like this that I feel like normally I would think a unit like Nidalee would not be great versus, she just has so much single target on the front portion of her ability, the one where she's hitting the units that she's targeting, that it's kind of no problem. I mean, we just clear that board, which is wild. I feel like Nidalee shouldn't be able to just clear those units, but she just does. She does an insane job of it. And so that is another fight win for us. That is a scary Kennen, I will say. The group hug at least makes us pretty tanky into the Kennen, but I would personally be afraid of a giant Kennen 2 running into my backline. I will say this Kennen unit has been nerfed. So now he is at least not the terror that he was like on release on PBE, where he would just delete your backline on like the second cast. Now, I mean, it at least takes him 3 or 4 casts to delete the board, but hey, we do end up losing that fight, and Gobo's like, okay, maybe I need to be preparing myself to swap around a little bit. Do need to find a much better charm, and we do find Blaze, which is a fantastic late game charm. So this is going to be the last fight. We are going to see if we can win here. Gobo doing a quick full board swap here. Doesn't get quite everybody into the hexes for the Lunar, but still pretty good. And we do get our tanks in front of the enemy melee carries, which is the biggest thing. The blue buff sitting here, tanking up things like this Rengar is really valuable, and it is enough to win the fight and give Gobo the first. So just a beautifully piloted Nidalee game, just showcasing the power of this comp. It's just so gross once it gets online, once you get to the Nidalee 2 with items. And so go abuse this comp while you can, if you want to climb on, you know, Project PBE or just PBE ladder, because it is very good. And if the comp does not receive nerfs, I mean, this will be a very meta comp on live. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. Check out my Twitch and my Metafy down below. I will say we are getting towards the end of PBE, just about a week and a half left with it. If you want to, you know, get on the climb going into next set, we can do some coaching sessions. I've already done some coaching sessions with students on PBE already, just for people who, you know, really are motivated. But if you're interested, all my stuff in the Metafy down below. Definitely you can join Tactician University or Legendary Tacticians if you want more like regular coaching weekly or you know, bi-weekly. And then also Legendary Tacticians, I have tournaments and stuff like that, a ton of stuff. Or you can just do the one-off sessions on Metafy, whatever you would like. That being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.